Hey, I'm YouTube and welcome back to a new video with Rams Fan YT. In today's video, I will be going over my predictions for this week rather, coming up in football. We've got the FA Cup quarterfinals this weekend. We've got huge fixtures at both ends of the table across the leagues, really approaching the business end of the season now, aren't we? Coming into the final 10 games or so, depending on what league you, of course, are looking at. We're going to start with Port Vale versus Barrow in League Two. I mean, as just alluded, the business end of the season will be coming fast, and that does mean that people and teams will be having eyes on certain prizes, and some just end up not having anything left to play for. Barrow's one of them teams which don't really have much to play for at the moment in time. They're just a bit too good to be really dragged into relegation, but nowhere near good enough to be in the playoffs. Port Vale, however, are a team who will be challenging for the automatic promotion zone, having been on the same points as Wimbledon, just beneath that dotted line of a 3 which go up automatically from League Two. So I'm going to back Port Vale in this one, 3-1. The other teams in action tonight in League Two is Carlisle United versus MK Dons. This is going to be an interesting one. Carlisle need the points much more, but they're obviously down in relegation zone for a reason. I am going to back MK Dons, but I think it will be a competitive game. 3-2 to the Dons. In the National League, we've got Altrincham versus Solihull Moors. Both of these teams on an outside shout for the playoffs. Altrincham 2 points off, although they've lost the last 5 games consecutively. I don't think Solihull are down in 17th, so they've not really got much of a chance. So if the ball is really in Altrincham's court to get the 3 points here. But having lost the last 5, I don't think it'll be that easy. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw here. Boston United are hosting Southend United, and Southend are in 8th. They're 1 point off the playoffs. They're unbeaten in a long time as well. However, we must not discredit Boston, who have suddenly miraculously pulled it out of the hat and are only 3 points off safety. I am going to say that Boston are going to win this one, home advantage and all. 2-0 to the Pilgrims. Rochdale are hosting York, which will be a very interesting one. It's 7th versus 2nd. Not an easy game for York, and I think the title is well beyond the reach of York at this point in time. And Rochdale will be needing it to make the points to making sure they stay in the playoffs. However, I reckon this will cancel each other out. A 0-0 draw here at Spotland. On to the next one is Waleston versus Aldershot Town. It's 18th versus 16th, both on a decent run of form, especially Aldershot of late. I reckon we're going to see a competitive draw. 3-3 draw here, showing true to the Aldershot Town's 3-3 draws, considering that they drew 3-3 last weekend against Ebbsfleet United. Yes, another battling and exciting 3-3 draw. On to the final National League one tonight. We've got Woking hosting SC Halifax Town. Woking aren't far away from a relegation zone themselves. They are only 2 points above that dotted line in 19th. So they're going to need to make sure to get some points, but it's not going to be an easy team against the Shaman, who are currently in 5th and looking good on the money to being in the playoffs at the moment in time. However, with a couple of losses recently, nothing, as I say, is guaranteed, but I think they will get into playoffs at this rate. We're going to go 2-1 to SC Halifax Town here, returning to winning ways after having lost the last 2 games. Yep. In the National League North, got Alfreton Town hosting Leamington, and to be fair, Alfreton are a team which have been really poor recently. They've dropped all the way down to 18th, and they're up against a very inconsistent Leamington, if we're being honest. I think Alfreton need a win here, more than anything else, just to get them back on track, and I think they're going to. 2-0 to the Reds. Brackley Town are hosting Kidderminster Harriers. Very difficult game for both teams here. It's 2nd v 3rd. Huge 6-pointer in the title race. Neither of them can actually get to the title by winning tonight, but both teams will be taking a step closer if they do gain all 3 points. Brackley would be within 1 point, Kidderminster Harriers within 2, and that just flies open the competition much wider. Kidderminster Harriers are on the marginally better run of form, having been unbeaten in a longer stretch of time. Overall, I think Kidderminster Harriers will just edge this one out. 2-0 to the Harriers. Darlington are hosting Chorley. Chorley are in 5th. I reckon that they'll probably be wanting to make sure that they are consistent enough to stay in the playoffs. I think they are. Actually, I don't know. I'm looking at Curzon, and Buxton and Spennymoor all lining up and doing a decent job, I think, compared to the inconsistency of the 3 teams which make up between 5th and 6th at the moment. But saying that, I do think Chorley will win. They're travelling to Darlington, who are a team which are equally inconsistent at the moment. We're going to go 3-0 to Chorley, just solidifying, really, the place in the playoffs. Scarborough are hosting Oxford City. Oxford City are on a little bit of a run of form. They've picked up 7 points over the last 3 games, which is not too shabby at all for a team in a relegation battle, making it quite difficult for the bottom 4 to get out, really. Scarborough have won the last 3 in a row. So I am going to go here for a 2-2 draw. It'll be interesting to see if Oxford do take 3 points out. I'd say they are nailed on the money for safety. I think they're pretty much safe as it is, as we speak. But yeah. Spennymoor Town are hosting Radcliffe. Radcliffe managed to push themselves out the relegation zone into 19th. But it's not an easy game. Keep on saying Spennymoor 2 games in hands on Kings Lynn now, and they are actually only 2 wins away from the playoffs. As I was saying, that good run of form can certainly propel them into a playoff picture. And I think they've won the last 3. I think they're going to win again. 4-2 to Spennymoor Town. It'll be quite interesting to see. Have they left it too little too late? Hornchurch are hosting Worthing. Worthing are, at the moment, the team looking likely to win the National League South title, being clear by only a point, but other than the loss last weekend, they had a really, really good run of form, and I reckon they'll probably get back to that against a Hornchurch side, which is very mid-table at the moment. 3-1 to Worthing. Leyton Orient are hosting Stevenage. I think on Thursday. It's a bit of a weird day to have football. I don't know why this has started. I'm going to go 1-0 to Stevenage here. Leyton Orient are having a little bit of a shaky moment in time, which has seen them drop out of the playoffs and into 9th. And Stevenage are just one of them weirdly inconsistent teams that will be able to get a win. So yeah, 1-0 Stevenage. Sheffield United are hosting Coventry City on TV, in front of the TV cameras on a Friday night. An interesting game in the Championship, this one, I think, because Sheffield United, if they don't win it, do leave themselves open to dropping out of the automatic zones. But if they do win it, leave themselves a prime opportunity to get into first place. So it's very interesting. Coventry, though, we can't sleep on. They're in 5th. There's a reason for that. Other than a slip-up against Derby, they have been immense since Frank Lampard has come in, catapulting them up the table into the playoffs. But I am going to back the Blades here. Home advantage as well at Bramall Lane. 3-1 to Sheffield United. Colchester United versus Grimsby Town. This is a huge game for the playoff picture in League 2, with it being 7th v 8th. Grimsby in 7th, Colchester in 8th. But I would say overall, for Colchester, been on a run of form. Apart from the unfortunate defeat that they had against Bradford, but I mean, that was sort of unfortunate, but also kind of expected, because Bradford are a team which is on the hunt for the title at the moment. So yeah, I do think that Colchester win this one, and I think they finish in the playoffs. I'm going to go 2-0 Colchester United. Tranmere Rovers are hosting Cheltenham Town, a weird one to be on TV, this one. Cheltenham bidding consistent, floating around in 14th, whereas Tranmere are just above that dotted line in 22nd, but 7 points clear overall. I think Cheltenham do win this one, though. 3-0 to the Robins. Yeah. I've been saying that Tranmere are going to be the team relegated all season, but it seems like, but I don't know now. I think still I'm saying so. I'm going to stick to my guns, but they are on a good run of form. In the FA Cup, we've got Fulham hosting Crystal Palace at Craven Cottage. Very interesting one. This is the quarter-final stage of the FA Cup, so really the exciting stages. I do think Crystal Palace will win this one 2-0. I couldn't particularly tell you why, because I think either team could really take it. But I do think Palace will just edge it. They seem to have been taking the cup really seriously. Brighton Hove Albion are hosting Nottingham Forest at the Amex. Now, I think this will be quite a close game. I'm going to go a 2-2 draw. I mean, either in extra time or on penalties or something like that. Brighton will win it. I think Brighton may need it to qualify for Europe. If they, I mean, most of the teams actually in the FA Cup now are looking likely to get Europe, apart from Nottingham Forest and Man City. So yeah, I could see Brighton feasibly winning this one, and they're on a better run of form in the Premier League as well. So yeah, I'm going to marginally back Brighton after a tight game. A relegation 6-pointer in the Championship. Derby are not playing in the Championship due to Preston's activity in the FA Cup. So we'll be the only team not playing in the Championship this weekend. Does leave it to be slightly nail-biting. And off an international break, it is quite annoying because we've had the rest we need. Although we have got a few international players on duty. Ryan Ayambe, Ibu Adams, Harrison Armstrong, Nathaniel Mendes-Lang of 4. I can immediately think of, I think Sondre Langas as well. All out on representing their internationals teams respectively. So they need a rest. But in terms of, it just makes it a bit more uncomfortable seeing a relegation 6-pointer because Hull City are 3 points above relegation zone. Luton Town are 4 points within the relegation zone, so it is an important game. I'm going to say Luton Town win this one 2-0. I think that would be the preferred result for Derby fans because it keeps Hull within risk of relegation, and Luton are behind us at the moment. It would level them up on points with us, but they have got a worse goal difference. So I'm going to go and back Luton for this one. Watford are hosting Plymouth. I think Watford win this one fairly comfortably. 2-0 Watford. Yeah, I think Plymouth are destined for last place. Burnley are hosting Bristol City. And Bristol City in 7th, Burnley in 3rd. Not an easy game for Bristol City. They're on a good run of form and would be looking for the playoffs, but I think you do look at a team like Burnley. They have only conceded 11 goals this season. That is mental looking at that. Absolutely wild stats. So, yeah, I got to back Burnley to win this one. 2-1 to Burnley at Turf Moor as well. Yeah. Cardiff City are hosting Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday are so inconsistent this season. You think they're going to go on a playoff run and then they just nosedive again. So yeah, we'll probably finish around about mid-table, around about, that 14th place finish, something like that. Whereas Cardiff are in 21st, they got more stuff to play for, 1 point above the relegation zone. I think Cardiff will be relegated, but I think they might win this one, unfortunately. 2-1 to Cardiff City. Leeds United hosting Swansea City. Swansea sitting very abjectly in 16th. Not much going to change around about there, then is it? Maybe down a spot, but not too much. They could get dragged into relegations scrap. They're only 6 points away, but I think it's a little bit too much to ask for that. Leeds United, however, are on the top of the league, and they're going to probably aim for the title. I think you look at the team Leeds have right now, they seem immense. They've had a couple of wobbles, but I think they're going to go back on track here, dominating, winning 3-1 at Ellen Road. Middlesbrough are hosting Oxford. That's certainly one which will be an interesting one for the playoffs in terms of Middlesbrough, only 3 points off the playoffs. Oxford down in 18th. So another team which potentially could be ending up in a relegation battle. And I am going to back Middlesbrough to win this one. 3-2 to Borough at the Riverside Stadium. So yeah. Norwich City are hosting West Bromwich Albion. West Brom in 6th. Norwich down in 13th. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling that Norwich win this one at Carrow Road. 2-0 to the Canaries. Portsmouth hosting Blackburn. I think we've got to back Blackburn to go back to winning ways here. For a while they were in the playoffs. And Portsmouth, although not an easy game, is a game which you would credibly think a team which does want playoffs must win. So yeah, 2-1 to Blackburn. Stoke City are hosting Queen's Park Rangers. I think this is going to be quite a cagey game. Stoke looking just above relegation zone. I don't want to say it, but I think Stoke will win this one because QPR haven't won a game in the last 5 games. So yeah, I'm going to marginally back Stoke for a 1-0 win here. Sunderland are hosting Millwall. Millwall are one of them annoying teams that will be able to get a win here, won't they? And Sunderland have shown that they are very much capable of bottle this season. So yeah, we're going to go 1-0 Millwall, making it quite a tense time for a tense time for Sunderland. But I don't think overall Sunderland's done enough this season to guarantee that 4th place, haven't they? League One, we've got Charlton Athletic versus Huddersfield. Bit of a playoff battle here. As I said, it's towards the business end of the season. So every game is now important for about 2/3 of the league. And then there's the mid-table ones who don't really care at this moment in time. Huddersfield in 6th, Charlton Athletic in 4th. This is one which is important for both teams. Huddersfield need to win more to make sure they stay in the playoffs. So for that reason, I am going to back them, but I think it's going to be a good game. 1-0 to the Terriers. Stockport County are hosting Burton Albion. Stockport in 5th, Burton Albion down in 21st. But we know that under Gary Bowyer, there is a bit of a gritty determinedness at the Brewers at the moment. And they do have a game in hand over Bristol Rovers. So if they win that puts them with 3 points within safety. And I'm going to hold to the statement that they're going to finish the season higher than both Northampton Town and Bristol Rovers, which I made a couple of videos back. So yeah, I'm going to say a draw here. A 0-0 draw, which I think Burton would take, but you want at this stage of the season, obviously, with only, 8 games for them left to play after this weekend. You'd be wanting to get up some points. But it's no disgrace getting a draw against Stockport. Birmingham City are hosting Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury will probably travel in numbers for this one, especially seeming they're looking pretty much destined to be relegated this season. So yeah, I'm going to go Birmingham City to narrowly win this one. It's going to be a difficult, cagey game. 1-0 to the Blues at St Andrews. Blackpool are hosting Bolton Wanderers. I think Bolton, they've got back-to-back losses. They're not looking like they actually want to get the playoffs this season. They're constantly like, do we, don't we? And they're not entirely too sure. And I could see them dropping down 3 or 4 places again. Like, they've been such a roller coaster this season. I'm going to back Blackpool to win this one fairly comfortably. 4-1 to the Tangerines. Bristol Rovers are hosting Mansfield Town. Unfortunately for Burton, I don't think Nigel Clough is going to do any favours to his old club here, because I think it's going to be 17th v 20th. It's going to be a cagey, close game. I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw in this one. Another team which is battling down there, well, 2 teams battling down there, is Northampton Town versus Cambridge United. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw for this one. You don't give up until it's over, as they say, but it's looking increasingly unlikely for Cambridge to be able to stay up. But you got to be fighting competitive just so that you're still fighting next season, because otherwise you look at Carlisle, who seem to just keel over and stop the battle, and they're now in the League Two, and that's been a struggle this season as well. Exeter City are hosting Wrexham. I think Wrexham might bottle this one, a little bit of complacency might drift in, and Exeter are on a really good run of form. They've not been beaten in a long, long time now. And Wrexham, I think, maybe slightly overconfident after that Wycombe win that they get promotion. I'm going to go 1-0 Exeter City at St James's Park. No, not that 1-1 in Exeter. And you know what? It's a long way to travel for any team, especially one in Wrexham, where the infrastructure, let's say, to get down south is not the best. Reading versus Peterborough United. Reading in 8th on a really good unbeaten run, but you look at Peterborough, they're on an even better run, I would say. Peterborough, one of the informed teams in the league right now. If they're either the most informed team or Charlton Athletic or Birmingham City, like out of them three, they're sort of roughly the same, and all credit must go to the Posh for doing that. I'm going to go 1-0 Peterborough for that reason. It'll be a close game. Yeah. I mean, Peterborough realistically were slightly too big to be relegated, let's be honest. There was that stage in the season where people like, could they be relegated? Yeah, I don't think they will be. Rotherham United are hosting Crawley Town. I can see Crawley getting a draw out this one, a 2-2 draw, which I think I've just predicted a draw for all of the teams in the bottom 6 positions apart from Shrewsbury. That's quite mental, that, isn't it? I'm going to predict a draw again. We're going to extend it to the next team above, with Wigan Athletic, because they are hosting Barnsley. Wigan, I would say, are probably the worst attended team in the division in terms of capacity of the stadium they fill. It seems like everything's not going ideally right at Wigan at the moment. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw against Barnsley, because Barnsley aren't in a good run of form over. I forgot to mention with Reading, which I feel like I will do it straight after the Wycombe one, so that we neatly end up League One. Yeah, so Wycombe are up against Lincoln. I'm going to go with point each, a 1-1 draw. Anyway, I was saying that I will stand in solidarity with any Reading fans. You're a club which, huge respect. I would say that they probably should be in the upper ends of the Championship if you base it on certainly history, size of stadium, size of club, size of fan base. But in terms of, because of the stupid ownership situation, they're now in real risk of being expulsion from the Football League. So I hope that does not happen. I hope the EFL shows a bit of mercy and at least wait till the end of the season. It would just be completely unfair to eject them at this stage of the season, especially. But I hope that De Jong leaves and a new owner comes in. I know that the ex-Wycombe owner, I can't remember what his name is, wanted to take over, and hopefully he is a good man to be able to do so. I wish the best for the Royals, I really do. They've had a torrid time over the last 5 seasons or so now, it seems, doesn't it? On to League Two, Accrington Stanley versus Bradford City. I'm going to back Bradford City for the win this one. Bradford are the team most likely looking to want to take the title at the moment. I do think Walsall will win the title, because I think potentially their complacency must surely be coming to an end at the moment. So Bradford to win this one 3-0 against an Accrington Stanley team, which are down in 20th. Pretty routine win for them. Crewe Alexandra are hosting Port Vale. This is an interesting matchup. As I said, Port Vale on an eye for the automatic zones, but Crewe are still in the hunt for the playoffs, only 1 point away from it at the moment. I'm going to marginally back Port Vale, close one here. 1-0 to Port Vale. It's a local derby as well. I don't know what the official name of the derby is, but they're very close to each other in geographical sense. So it's going to be a huge game either which way. Barrow are hosting Chesterfield. This will be an interesting one because Chesterfield on a good run of form. But I do actually think so are Barrow. We're going to back Barrow with this one 3-2 because it's a long way to travel. It's a difficult one to predict for me because it could go either way. I mean, I still part of me wants to back Chesterfield getting the playoffs, but I think that would be quite crazy, wouldn't it? Yeah. On to Bromley versus Salford City. I'm going to back Salford. It's 10th v 12th. It's quite two quite inconsistent teams at the moment. That's hence why they're in that sort of mid-table, upper mid-table battle. So yeah, 2-0 to the Ammies. But I mean, Bromley must hold their heads high that they've done so well in their debut season in League Two. Yet again, proving why it should be 3 up and 3 down, not 2 up and 2 down. Doncaster Rovers are hosting Carlisle United. They are only 1 point off automatic promotion themselves, so I don't think they're down and out of that fight. So yeah, I think Doncaster take all 3 points. 2-1 to the Rovers. Harrogate Town versus Gillingham. We got 18th versus 21st. It's hard to place a difference between these two teams at the moment, but I've got a really weird feeling that Harrogate is going to batter Gillingham 5-1. I'm not sure what's making me say that, but I just think it'll happen. Milton Keynes Dons versus Fleetwood Town. Fleetwood Town in 13th, MK Dons in 18th. Oh, difficult one. I'm going to back Fleetwood here. 2-1 to the Cod Army. But yeah, neither of these teams have got anything to play for at this stage of the season. That is completely fair to say. Morecambe are hosting Swindon Town. Morecambe are definitely fighting for something. There's 7 points off safety. I mean, I keep on backing them and keep on being made a mug out of, but you surely must think that they must get something from Swindon. They're in 15th. Because Swindon have had 4 draws in a row, I'm going to go with another draw to add to that tally. A 2-2 draw. There you go. I bet Swindon are fed up of drawing at this rate, innit? Newport County are versus Notts County. The battle of the counties. Newport in 16th, Notts County in 6th. I've got to back the Nottinghamshire-based side to win this one, unfortunately. 3-1 to the Magpies. I just don't feasibly see how Newport win this one, especially considering how inconsistent they've been at the moment, only picking up 2 wins in the last 5 games. Walsall are hosting AFC Wimbledon. Not a game that Walsall will particularly be wanting because AFC Wimbledon are in that hunt of staying into the automatic promotion zone and maybe even attempting to get the title. If they win today, Wimbledon, I think not today, but on Saturday, they're actually good money for being a team to get the title. I'm going to back Wimbledon to win this one 3-1 because I don't think Walsall are doing a particularly good job at the moment. And they need to be careful, Walsall, otherwise they'll end up in the lottery that is the playoffs. Onto the National League, what Forest Green Rovers versus Solihull Moors. Yeah, we're going to go Forest Green Rovers to win this one. Yeah, I don't think Solihull are going to provide a particular surmountable object to get past. 2-1 to Forest Green Rovers. Gateshead are travelling to Barnet and at the Hive. I think, you know what? This is going to be one of them really weird things. So Barnet have won a load of games on the bounce, and Gateshead have lost a load of games on the bounce. But suddenly, it does what all the time. It just happens in football completely randomly. That some team book for current form, and they currently just steal all 3 points. And Gateshead are actually a decent team, hence why they're in 6th. So they could be the team to do it. 2-0 to the Heed. It'd be very interesting if that does happen. Boston United are hosting Sutton United. And as I said, Boston are looking increasingly more lively, and Sutton haven't really got much to play for. I think it's just a bit too much for them to do to get into the playoffs as we speak. So yeah, I'm going to back the Pilgrims to win this one 3-0. Another home game as well. Dagenham and Redbridge are hosting Maidenhead United. I mean, Maidenhead are looking likely to be relegated now, aren't they? I was backing them for a while to stay up, but recent results have not convinced me they will. Dagenham and Redbridge, though, just above relegation zone in 20th. So if Maidenhead do win this one, they will go out of a relegation zone. But I think Dagenham and Redbridge will kick into action. 4-1 winners for the Daggers. And I could definitely see them finishing a season in about 18th. I mean, I don't think Dagenham and Redbridge should go down, even though at one point I was saying they were looking pretty bad. They did pick up 4 points in the last 2 games, and that is the sort of form you need to make sure you stay up. Ebbsfleet United hosting Aldrincham. Condolences to Ebbsfleet. They have been relegated to the National League South for next season. We will still cover them on the channel. Of course, we go down to Tier 6, but it's not been a pretty season for them. And I do think Aldrincham, they have nothing to play for. Ebbsfleet. Aldrincham do have something to play for, and I think Alty win this one 2-0. FC Halifax Town versus Hartlepool United. Halifax in 5th, Hartlepool down in 13th. You gotta say that Halifax win this one 2-1 to the Shaman. Yeah, Hartlepool are just mid-table. Rochdale are hosting Aldershot Town. Aldershot are doing really well in good form, but I think you look at Rochdale, they need to get that playoffs. They actually do, because the fan base is getting a bit intolerant at the moment. 2-1 to the Dale. I think they will get to be in the playoffs. I think they'll probably, if they get a good run of form going, they could definitely catapult up to the 4th. Because none of the other teams above them, apart from maybe Oldham, seem to be on that good of a run of form themselves. Tamworth are hosting Eastleigh. This is an interesting one, 10th v 11th. Tamworth on a much better run of form, but I do think Eastleigh will break it. A tight game, 1-0 to the Spitfires of Eastleigh. Be very interesting, because either of these teams could actually get playoffs. If Tamworth get playoffs and potentially get back-to-back promotions, that would be crazy. Seeing Tamworth versus Burton Albion in League 2 as well would equally be crazy, because that's a big local derby. Woking are hosting Braintree. Braintree are on a decent run of form, much better than Woking, so I think I am going to back Braintree to win this one. A good season for Braintree standards, to be fair. They only got promoted last season. 3-2 for Braintree Town. They're comfortably going to stay up this season. It didn't always look likely, but it is now. Yeovil Town are hosting Fylde. I'm going to back Yeovil to win this one. It's a long way to get from Fylde down to Yeovil. So Yeovil to win this one, 3-2 at Hewish Park. York City are hosting Wealdstone. I'm going to back Wealdstone, actually. I think York haven't got actually much to play for now. Whereas Wealdstone want to make sure they don't get relegated, and so do. I'm going to go 3-2 Wealdstone in a bit of a shock. The shock of the weekend, maybe. Southend are hosting Oldham Athletic. I'm going to say Southend beat Oldham here, breaking the unbeaten run of Oldham. And Southend are on an unbeaten run themselves. So yeah, 4-0 to Southend United at Root Hall. How about that for you? A little bit of a shock. On to the National League North, got Brackley Town versus Scarborough. And first of all, before I go over the National League North, we have got confirmed new boys for next season will be Macclesfield, on their way back up, having re-entered at Tier 9 in, 21-22. They're slowly making their way back up through the leagues, hoping to be in the EFL soon. It's not that easy, though, as I will surely be mentioning sometime next season. But congratulations. Do feel free to watch my video about promotions relegations across the non-league scene that I made yesterday. But we are talking about the predictions for this weekend, so that is for the other video if you want to find my reactions for that. Scarborough travelling to Brackley. I think Scarborough win this one. I know it's weird, but Scarborough on a good run of form. If they do win their midweek fixture, that would be 4 wins and a bounce. So that just proves that they've got some good form in them. 1-0 to Scarborough Athletic. Chester are hosting Curzon Ashton. 8th place Curzon Ashton versus 4th place Chester. Chester having a bit of a wobble at the moment. They have been against some difficult opponents, admittedly. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw here. It's not getting any easier for the Kestrians. That's definitely not the nickname for Chester. Anyway, Chorley are hosting Spennymoor. I think Chorley's unbeaten run will come to an end against Chorley. I'm going to go Chorley to win this one, 2-1. But if Spennymoor do win this one, that throws open the playoffs. Opportunities are wide open for them. But it's a huge game for them to need to win. Varsity Celtic versus Hereford. I feel like Hereford are just going to be slightly disappointed come the full time at this one. Rude opportunities and missed chances is going to mean that it's going to be a 0-0 draw, in my opinion. And I don't rate Farsley very highly this season. But I mean, sometimes weird things do happen. Kidderminster Harriers are hosting Peterborough Sports. I'm going to go Kidderminster Harriers to win. They're on a really good run of form. I think Peterborough's got a little bit too much to do to get into the playoffs, to be honest. 2-0 to the Harriers. Leamington are hosting Kings Lynn. I'm going to back Leamington. Kings Lynn are looking slightly inconsistent over the last 4 games or so. Yeah, I just think Leamington could potentially get something in this one, snatching a 2-1 win. Marine are hosting Alfreton, and as I said with Alfreton, I do severely hope that they stay up and continue. Derbyshire Pride and all that. Yeah, Alfreton to win this one at 1-0, and hopefully they start going up the ladder of the league instead of continuing on their slide downwards. Needham Market hosting Buxton. I'm going to back Buxton for a huge win for this one. You're going to back Derbyshire. I'm going 7-1 to the Bucks. Come on. I want Buxton to get into the playoffs as well, because that would be huge for Derbyshire to see them. Even if they don't manage to get promoted, just being in the playoffs, they've got over a leap and bounds. John McGrath, I believe, is the manager as well, formerly of Mickleover. He did a great job with them. Just look at where Mickleover are this season, and you'll see exactly what this manager is made of. Oxford City are hosting Radcliffe. This is an interesting game. I think both of them are a bit too much for relegation now, but it's important they don't lose this game. I'm going to Oxford City home advantage to win this one. 3-1 Oxford City. Rushall Olympic are hosting South Shields. Rushall, it's not beyond them to get out of the relegation zone, but they need to try really hard. And this is a must-win game. South Shields have lost the last 3 games on the bounce. Yeah, I'm going to say for Rushall Olympic to win this one, 2-0. But they will, if they are to stay up, they're going to need to throw everything at it. Every game's a cup final, as they say. Scunthorpe United hosting Southport. I think Southport will lose this one. Scunthorpe are wanting to get the title to make sure, so they'll make sure that it's sealed. I'm going to 1-0 to Scunthorpe United. Warrington Town are hosting Darlington. And Warrington, I must say, not a great deal of optimism around them at the moment. They're in 23rd, lost the last 3 games on a bounce. I think Darlington do win this one. 3-1 to the Quakers. There you go. Aveley are hosting Torquay United. It's not over until it's over, and that is the case in the National League South with Aveley, who are bottom of the league at the moment. I'm going to go for a shock win for Aveley. Here you are, 2-1 against Torquay. Even though Torquay are on a great run of form, I reckon we could see a shock. And to be fair, the title race is well and truly open. Any team from 1st to 5th, Torquay are within that title race as well. Bath City versus Hemel Hempstead Town. Hemel Hempstead in 9th. They are on a good run of form. But I do think Bath will win this one. I can't entirely say why. Maybe it's at Twerton Park. Maybe that's why. But 2-0 to Bath City. Yeah, there's not a great deal for Hemel Hempstead to actually be able to get promoted, I think. Chelmsford are hosting Truro. I'm going to Truro to win this one, 2-1. They are a team which I think between Dorking Wanderers, Bournemouth, Truro, they're the three that I'm tossing up. I mean, Bournemouth need to be a bit more consistent, but between the three of them, I could see any of them getting the title. So yeah, 2-1 for Truro against Chelmsford. Chelmsford mid-table. I mean, it's not going to be much different from that. Chesham United versus Welling. I think, unfortunately, Welling are going to be going down. It's just what it is. I know Chesham to win this one 3-1. Dorking Wanderers are hosting Eastbourne Borough. Very difficult game to call. Very difficult. Fourth place versus third. Eastbourne on a better run of form. I'm going to be boring. I'm going to say a draw. 1-1 draw. I know it's not what you want to hear, but I think it's more realistically likely to happen. Enfield Town versus Chippenham Town. I'm going to go Chippenham to win this one. They went back to winning ways on the weekend, and I think they'll probably be able to overcome Enfield. Even though Enfield are on a good run of form, that mustn't be taken away. 3-2 for Chippenham Town. Hornchurch versus Weston-super-Mare. We're going to go a 0-0 draw here. I mean, Weston-super-Mare are feasibly the only team who's going to be able to get into playoffs out of any of them, but it's still 4 points. It's quite a hard object to overcome. It has been for most of the season, to be fair. 0-0 draw, not ideal for Weston-super-Mare's playoff hopes. Maidstone United are hosting Boreham Wood. I'm going Boreham Wood to win this one 4-0. It's 6th v 7th. I know there's not a lot between the two of them. But yeah, I just think a huge win for Boreham Wood is incoming and kickstart maybe a late title charge. You want to be on good form going to the playoffs anyway. And so this final 6 games, very big. Salisbury are hosting Tunbridge Angels. I'm going to go, it's a bit of a nothing game, to be honest. It's 10th versus 20. Actually, it is more bigger for Salisbury. They're actually I only realised they were only 4 points above safety, actually. Yeah, we're going to make Salisbury win this one because of the pressure a bit more, you know. We're going to go 2-0 to Salisbury. St Albans City versus Farnborough. Farnborough got nothing to play for, so I think St Albans win this one. If any of the teams is to stay up, it will be St Albans, and I do feel Enfield might slip back into relegation zone with St Albans and Salisbury, and Welling. I mean, I could just see St Albans and Salisbury overtaking them at least, and maybe even Welling. I'm going to go 2-1 St Albans here. Weymouth are hosting Slough. As I said earlier, it's not over until it's over. Slough got enough to play for. They're in 16th. Weymouth it's cup final time for them as well. In 6 games, you can still play for a lot of points in 6 games. I mean, it's going to be a lot to ask, isn't it? Let's be realistic. Getting 18 points, like that would be how many they need. 6 wins. It'd be if they get. How many is 18? That would be put them on 46, I believe. I could be wrong about that. But it looks an incredibly unlikely job. But I think they're going to win this one 3-0 for Weymouth. It'll be ridiculous if they do pull off a great escape. But it needs to start this weekend if they are. Worthing versus Hampton Richmond Borough. They're wanting to get the title, Worthing. And I think you've got to back them to do so. 2-0 to Worthing. And the FA Cup games on Sunday. We've got Preston North End versus Aston Villa. Preston are going to fight for everything in this one. This is their cup final. They don't even care about reaching the final because you can't think about that sort of thing when you're the only championship club left. We're going with a scrappy or 1-1 draw, but I do think Aston Villa to win it, probably on penalties, maybe in extra time, but it's certainly going to be a right scrap. And we've got Bournemouth versus Manchester City. I'm going to say it, Man City are not going to win a major honour this season, which will make a change and, frankly, quite a grateful one for it. I'm going to go Bournemouth to win this one, 2-1 to the Cherries. makes it very interesting to see who the FA Cup is won by, because from the people I've predicted, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, and who was Brighton. Only Aston Villa have won a major honour out of any of them. So it does make it very interesting. But if you did enjoy the video, please do subscribe. It'll be hugely appreciated. We're pushing to 170 at the moment. We've had a lot of support recently, 6 new subscribers in the last week or so. So yeah, and I will see you all in the next one, which will probably be about promotions and relegations again. See you then.